Yo, it's me, Captain Gold, and this is the start of a short Zomboid series where I'll be surviving just 1 month in Riverside. I'm hoping this little series can help newer players learn the game a bit better, as I will be explaining my decision-making process throughout this series. It's one thing to learn tips from videos, it's another thing entirely to see a demonstration. But if you're already a solid Zomboid player, it's my hope that you'll still enjoy the content nonetheless. That being said, let me break down the Sandbox settings for you. I'm currently playing on build version 41.78.16. I am using the following mods as well, as they add more vehicle variety and quality of life changes. The world preset is similar to Apocalypse settings as well, with a few alterations. Generator fuel consumption is lowered for convenience, and all clothing is unlocked for role-playing purposes. House alarms are more frequent and can be triggered by Zeds. It gets darker at night, light bulbs last longer, and weapon multi-hit is on because in real life you can certainly hit multiple heads with one bat. Default zombie lore has also been altered to slightly lower the starting population while nearly doubling the undead population on peak day. Rally group size has also been increased slightly, as has following distance. But zombie respawn is off so long as I visit an in-game cell within a 2-week time span. Setting all of that aside, I want you to now meet Rebecca Salvator. You'll be following her on this 1-month journey. She is a police officer in Riverside, Kentucky. She is an incredibly thirsty woman who also happens to be a slow healer and reader with a fear of blood. And she's addicted to cigarettes, which is probably why she has a weak stomach. But on the positive side, she has great eyesight at night. She is also quite dexterous, fit, and organized, while also being quite the fast learner. Overall, I consider her to be a great build for beginners, as she is able to fight and travel longer on foot than normal, while also being able to hold more items in her inventory. Dexterous is very useful for saving time and for looting in a hurry, while fast learner makes leveling up skills a breeze. Being a police officer allows her to be nimbler while aiming, and it also makes leveling up aiming and reloading much easier. Last, but certainly not least, is Cat Eyes, which is pretty useful for nighttime operations, especially when nighttime is darker than normal. Anyways, let's get this playthrough started. Day 1 sees Becca starting off in a wonderful middle-class home at 5 a.m. in the morning. Before I even begin to assess my starting resources, I opt to shut all curtains in the house. Safety is paramount to all other objectives in a game like Zomboid. After shutting all the sheets in my starter house, I begin to assess the situation. I have a bag and no injuries, so the next zone to assess is nearby resources. What do I have to work with? I luckily find a radio with the emergency broadcast channel. This is important because this specific channel or frequency is randomized with each playthrough. This frequency will broadcast the weather every hour, and it will tell us the weather for the current day and the following day, while also eventually giving us a warning for the infamous helicopter event, which typically happens within 7 to 11 days in-game. That being said, I need to find a reliable melee weapon, a water container, and the holy trinity of Zomboid, being a hammer, screwdriver, and a saw. As I enter the bedroom, I find another great item, a fanny pack. I immediately equip that shit. Fanny packs are a wonderful inventory item, and I often prefer to use them as med packs. I then find a fucking gun, which is not typical for a starter house. But before I do anything with this weapon, I run to the television to catch the cooking show on the Life and Living channel. TV programs on this specific channel provide direct XP gains for free for the first 7 days at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. While learning some cooking skills, I load the mag, insert it into my new handgun, and then equip the 9mm to my holster. While doing this, I gained 1 free level in cooking. I then head over to the kitchen to drink some orange soda, as Becca will need all the calories she can get. But I also do this so I can have an actual container for water. I then eat some food and drink some milk to make sure Becca is well fed for the upcoming day. I then find myself a mop, a melee weapon for sure, but not really what I'm hoping for. After that, I find a shotgun and some sexy underwear. Now, the umbrella could be useful, but I need to maximize the use of my inventory, so I'm just gonna leave it. Upon entering the garage, I find the first leg of the Trinity, a saw. Well, a garden saw to be exact. which is not as good as a normal saw, but it'll do. I also take them nails, because they're going to be useful at some point. I then finally decide to exit the house, only to see that it's fucking foggy as shit outside. This is not good. Fog cuts vision and can lead any survivor into unnecessary trouble. Despite knowing this, the confidence that I have in my skills pushes me to venture into the unknown, which can very easily be a careless mistake on my part. That said, I keep my ambitions realistic, given the current circumstances, so I merely opt to check out the house next door. I could smash the window open, but that noise could attract Zeds, and with reduced visibility, I have no way of knowing if there is or isn't a sizable horde nearby. Best to go around and find an alternate entry point. You hear that? A Zed must have seen me from inside and it broke the window. It's time for me to get inside. And it looks like we have a Zed stuck indoors. But there's no need to liberate this undead bastard. I have to conserve my mob's fragile durability for when it's truly needed. Oh look, another one.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I go on to find some skill books, and I might as well take some, as they increase XP gained from performing related tasks. This of course helps us to increase our levels faster. Let's just take the ones we need for now. After quickly checking the empty kitchen, I leave to search the next home. I see 2 Zeds in front of me and 2 to my right. I think it's time to fall back. But then this sneaky little fuck surprises me. You know, it must have been that asshat who broke the window earlier. I choose to push this bitch on the ground and give her my size justice boots to the face. This allows me to save my weapon's durability. Before engaging the other 2 Zeds, I check my surroundings. It is vitally important to avoid tunnel vision, as one attack from the back and you could very well be dead. I also have to be careful as I am slightly encumbered. After re-killing these undead fucks, I go to the house behind me. Somehow, the dipshit didn't see me. Entry was easy peasy. In the safety of this room, I opt to quickly mark my spawn location on the map. And there's a small party in here. You know what? Best to leave since I was uninvited. That house is a no-go for now. Let's go check the next one. They're all getting the boot. Damn car is locked. I choose not to enter via that window because it's a small room where I could get fucked up, so I go look for a better entrance point. Patience is key. This is a process. Well, shit. I set off an alarm. Now every Zed in the neighborhood is going to rush to this house. Time to leave. Let's kill the straggler first, because he sees me and I don't need him bringing his friends to my house. I make it back home, safe and sound. But someone apparently happens to be knocking on my front door. You know what? Let's send these Jehovah's Witnesses to their god. Also, if you didn't notice, the mob broke. That's why I've been avoiding battle with multiple zombies. I decide to borrow some curtains from the bedroom so I can better secure my home. I then move a fridge to the sliding glass door. Now it doesn't cut line of sight, but it makes for a useful barricade. I then grab a saucepan and make it my primary weapon. Not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever used a pan in this game, so I am unsure as to how durable it might be. And I'm also aware of how risky a short-range melee weapon can be. But we gotta work with the cards we're dealt. Now you're probably wondering why I haven't used my gun yet. Well, that would be a fucking stupid idea. I don't need the Homeowners Association throwing a surprise open house tour of my starter house. That said, I realize the fog is making matters overly complicated, so I decide to sit down and watch some woodcraft for free carpentry XP. I'm hoping the fog will dissipate shortly after so I can actually get some work done. As soon as the fog goes away, I leave the house. Just look at that fucking situational awareness. This is much better. Gotta check mailboxes. There's always a small chance a generator magazine spawns in them. I then quickly decide to test my pan's durability on my neighbors. Notice how I'm always moving away from the Zeds, never moving forward during melee. Cuffing them is also a great trick as they can fall, giving you less Zeds to deal with momentarily. If you or another Zed stands on a grounded zombie, that zombie can't get up. Also notice that I make sure that I am fighting horizontally, because this gives me a better idea as to when I should swing. And as it turns out, a chunk of cooking metal is pretty fucking durable. Also, it appears to be pretty quiet out here. My guess is that the house alarm might have emptied this street. A horde could be just down a couple of houses. Regardless, I go to check the house with the broken garage door. Homeboy over here looks like me when I wasn't allowed to go out during COVID. Even though my pan is durable, I still opt to save its durability. Time Time to take some snacks. Oh, gotta get the bourbon. It can be crafted into a Molotov, and it is also the best container for water in terms of volume to weight ratio. I leave the house and search for a new place to loot. Easy entry. Shit, this is a nice home, right? But someone lives here. You know what, it's time to evict them. Tweezers are important, as they can remove lodged objects from wounds. And who could say no to antidepressants? The kitchen is also hella stacked with delicious jams and goodies. I think I'm gonna make this my first safe house. And look at that, a hiking bag and 2 members of the Holy Trinity. This is a wonderful home. Gonna take a book as well. Then I opt to transfer everything into the big boy bag while then keeping the satchel for additional carrying potential. And then I'll mark the home on my map just in case I'll ever need to use this safe house in the future. Now that it's 6 p.m., I'ma watch me some Exposure Survival for free XP. And while I do this, I saw off the barrel of my shotgun. This increases damage potential but shortens range. And like that, I now have a free level in fishing. Since it's getting late, I decide to store my loot. And with time to spare, and with some coffee on hand, I decide to consume a quarter of the cafefe to reduce my fatigue. It's time to go looking for a fucking hammer, the last member of the Trinity. Hopefully I can get one before nightfall. Now it isn't long before I find a small shack. And of course, there's an undead prick chilling near it. Unfortunately, there's no way to get in quietly, but fuck it, we ballin'. And no hammer, but gas cans will help us with the next objectives on my list. After we complete the Trinity, we'll need a functioning car and a How to Operate Generators magazine. And gas cans will help with getting a car. Oh, look.
Another one.
Gonna ignore those plebs. And of course, entry is not easy. Finally, I have found a hammer. The Trinity is now complete. We can go home. I make it back only to find out that my radio bugged out and deleted the emergency broadcast frequency. I should have written it down, but no worries, I luckily had one in this house with the frequency on it, which is nice. I don't have to go get a ham radio from a cop car now. Time to listen to the broadcast. Looks like clear skies tomorrow. I'm loving it, but just in case, I'm gonna write that frequency down. I then disassemble the wardrobe to get some wood. Them nails are gonna come in handy as I use them to barricade the window to my room. Also, always barricade from the inside. Exterior barricades attract the infected for some weird reason. Now time to set an alarm for 5:40 a.m. That way I don't miss the cooking show in the morning. With that said, I'm off to bed, and that concludes day 1 of this month-long journey. If you like this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment. I'm going to try to publish more when possible. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.